Hi guys, welcome to this new episode of the 5 Minutes of Dev series. I'm your host, Zelik880, and today we're going to talk about tools and resources. In today's video, we're going to touch upon 5 different topics: quick development for proof of concept, local development for your day-to-day operations, source control, designs and prototype, and lastly, training resources. If sometimes you're in need of something very quick, you would like to try out an idea, or you would like to develop a proof of concept or something that came up just to see if it works, there are 2 main resources that I really like to go. The first one is CodePen. CodePen is a very simple web browser IDE. It allows you to have HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and usually it's very good for a one-pager, very simple example. Like if you've seen my first video about the Flexbox layout, I completed it in CodePen. CodePen is usually very good when you want to share it on Twitter, on social media, and as I said before, when you want something very small and very quick. If on the other hand you would like to start a proof of concept that may actually turn out to be a very big project or something that you would like to work upon, I usually use Sandbox. Sandbox is very similar to CodePen, with the main difference that you actually create a full repository for you. It allows you to create tests, and is actually a Visual Studio Code or a full-blown IDE with all the resources and requirements that you may have in the browser. So as you can see here, this is one of the development that I did for a local talk, where we actually add a full working Vue application right in the browser. What is very good at CodePen or Sandbox is that while you're developing it, if you would like to actually start a real project with just a couple of clicks, it actually can create a GitHub repos for you, and that's the first push. And the only thing you need to then continue local development will be to pull the repo down by cloning it and then do npm install. So it's really good for proof of concept, and I really suggest to go and try it out. For local development, my IDE of choice is Visual Studio Code. There are other fantastic IDE out there, but I'm really happy about the work that Microsoft has done with Visual Studio Code. It's very quick, very reliable. Yes, it does use a little bit of memory, but what it gives back is really beneficial for my local development. I don't use many extensions. As you can see, I have V2 for Vue.js because I like to develop in Vue and it supports me with lovely highlights. Then I have Markdown Preview Enhanced, so I'm able to write things, Markdown pages in Visual Studio Code and see a real live representation of it straight away on the right hand side of the screen. Then I go GraphQL highlights and ESLint. If you develop in PHP and you would like a very quick local environment, what I usually go to is WAMP. WAMP server creates an Apache server, PHP, MySQL, everything out of the box on Windows, and it's very simple to set up. So usually this is my go-to for all PHP environments. If you're just getting started with web development, Git and source control are probably one of the hardest things to learn. I personally like to have a UI or something visual that will support me in making the right decision when doing git commit, rebase and merge conflict. If you're happy to use the console and you've been using the console UI and the console until now, feel free to continue to do so. If you're looking for a tool that will actually support you and provide you visual representation of what you're doing, then I will greatly suggest you to use GitKraken. GitKraken is it's completely free for personal use, and it's $29 a year if you actually want to use it with private repos. It integrates with GitHub, GitLab, Azure, and it's very simple, and it provides you fantastic visual representation. So with a tool like this, you're going to learn very quick how to use Git, and you're going to make less mistakes. That is very important when playing up with repositories. The next topic is prototype and design. This is a very broad topic, and today we're just going to touch about 4 or 5 different suggestions or resources that I usually use on a day-to-day basis. The first one is a free imagery website called Unsplash. If you go on Unsplash, you're able to find most of the images that you need, either for your cover image, for your blog, or for your new website. If you're developing a website, what is really important is choosing the right colors. If you're not a designer, as I'm not myself, what you should do, I go to colors.com. Colors will provide you a color palette, and it will support you in actually creating colors that work very well within each other and supporting getting started with your web development. As you probably are aware, I really like to develop applications with Vue.js due to the possibility to create small reusable components. To do so, I usually use Storybook. Storybook is an open source tool for developing UI components in isolation. It works with every major framework such as Vue, Angular, React, and Svelte, and is really good not only for the development perspective, but also to support you in sharing the idea of components and the reusability of the components with upper management and the rest of the organization. So I really suggest you to use this in any kind of development you may have. The last resource I'm going to share for this topic is Font Awesome. Probably you already heard about this, but if you have not, it's really useful for development of mobile application, as it provides you over 7,000 icons, all for free. In this last topic, we're going to talk about training resources. I usually get asked the question, where do you learn new stuff and how do you keep yourself up to date? The reality is that there's no one place to go, and you really need to keep yourself active to do so. The first thing is listening to podcasts. Podcasts usually always introduce you to new things that are coming up, sometimes things that you are not able to use straight away due to support, very low browser support, but they're really good to learn what is coming up next, and then it supports you to actually get interested in new things and then doing your own research and improve your own knowledge of the topic. If you would like to know which podcast I usually listen to, you can go on my website on the tips and tricks page and you will see the one that I usually listen to. I usually change as some podcasts may change over time and they get more important or more useful or less useful depending from your the place in your career, but these are the ones that I'm currently listening to. Next up is dev.io. This website is really good if you're trying to find new information and you would like to keep yourself up to date on the new technology. There are always new blog posts to read and you're able to follow people and get up to speed with the newest and greatest technologies. Next up on my list of tool and resources is going to be Twitter. You've probably heard of it and probably even used it in the past and remove yourself from it. But if you're a developer and you would like to be up to speed on everything that is new on our industry, I really suggest you to start and reuse it. What is important with Twitter is that you just follow real people. Don't bloat yourself by following bots or getting to follow people that you're not interested in. And if you follow people that are in your sector, what you usually see is a very good Twitter feed that can actually support you in getting up to speed and learn on a day-to-day basis. Before I wrap up this video, I would like to share one more resource to actually train yourself and learn new technologies, and it's by writing. So I have my own blog post, and it's not for myself to become successful. It's not for any other reason than to learn. For example, I learned about IndexedDB. I wanted to know more about it. The best way to do it is trying to write something about it. To actually create a blog post or to create a video, what you have to do is do more research and getting to know the topic. And this is really for myself the best way to learn something. So I really hope you found this video interesting, and please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll get you next week.